Thanks for starting your Sunday with me here on Weekends with Whitney. And what a beautiful Sunday it is. It is cool, it is crisp, it finally feels like fall is here. Coming up on this morning's show, the face of downtown Baton Rouge is changing again, but so are the sounds of downtown. We'll meet two LSU students who are on a mission to bring music to the streets. Plus, legendary baseball coach Roger Cador gets candid about his struggles rising from a sharecropper's son to baseball's elite. And are you taking care of everyone except yourself? Dr. Nick shows us why self-care should be everywhere and how to get there. Then we'll head into the kitchen to make a soft shell crab Tuscany recipe. It is from the little village downtown, and this is mouth-watering. But we begin with the explosion of downtown in our capital city. Just this week, it was announced that another hotel and 2 more restaurants are coming. That'll mean 1,000 hotel rooms and more than 50 restaurants at your fingertips. But brick and mortar are not the only push. Meet 2 musicians who are changing the sound of downtown Baton Rouge.
1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, let's get it live. What happened here?
Downtown Baton Rouge is now alive with the sound of music, not just inside the many bars and restaurants, but right on the sidewalk. Thanks in part to LSU students and musicians Garrett Holdridge and Nick Raines. In fact, it was Nick's mom who got him started performing on the streets of New Orleans.
She grew up in New Orleans, so at the age of 16, she gave me my first guitar and she brought me down to New Orleans because I just wanted to play to people. Like, I've always enjoyed just playing to people who wanted to listen. So that's been like my big philosophy of music, and that's where I have my upbringing, is in the streets of New Orleans, playing just not for the money, not for like me or to be big or anything, just for people who want to listen.
Nick started performing solo this summer on 3rd Street. When he met Garrett, a freshman and fellow Tiger Band member 2 months ago, he quickly realized they should team up.
It's like I'd come back from the corners like with no voice, like hoarse, missing strings on my guitar, but having Garrett there, it was good to have like a friend there to help me through the night and just like be a positive, uplifting spirit on the corner.
Rain falls angry on the tin roof.
It was a real stretch, though, for Garrett.
But really, I've never been a street performer. I've always been the kind of guy that sits in my room and plays music and doesn't really do anything about it and hopes for it. But I'm hoping this is starting something, not just for us, but for everyone else.
Open up your mind.
To begin, they practiced 3 hours a day, put together a 50-song set list, and hit the corner of 3rd and Florida. And that's the name of their new band, 3rd and Florida.
So it has a lot of sentimental meaning to us, and we're just really excited to see how far we can take it.
'Cause it's you and me.
Taking it to the streets isn't without its challenges, but the dollars dropped into their guitar case and the words of appreciation are encouraging.
It's a night-to-night thing when you're on the street. It's kind of a, do people want to pay or do people want to walk by? But I mean, they're all listening, and that's all that matters, is that they're listening to us. And it's the sentiment of you guys are really good, or let me buy you some food, or something like that. Like it's just those kind of sentiments that we enjoy people hearing, even if they don't drop money in the case.
Okay. Cannot we? I'm sure there's no need to come looking our time.
And sometimes it's not always money in there.
I found something interesting that I saw dropped in here. You have a wooden coin.
This is my mango money.
Is that right?
Girl dropped by and said she doesn't have any cash, but she has a $5 token to the farmer's market. I said, that's mango money. I need some breakfast. So mango money it is.
But what they're creating, building, and growing on the sidewalk is something far more valuable than money.
We're come out here on a Friday or Saturday night over the summer, and we'd have people like laughing and dancing, just cutting up and having a great time. And that's the whole reason why we did this.
So look for the new band, 3rd and Florida, on 3rd and Florida next time you're downtown. But coming up next, from the humble roots of a sharecropper's son to baseball's elite, we're going to sit down with Roger Cador. He's amazingly optimistic against all odds after this.
You know the best thing about Raising Cane's? Well, we have fresh, never ever frozen 100% premium chicken fingers. We also have extra long crinkle cut fries. Then there's our crisp coleslaw and buttery Texas toast. And of course, you can't forget about our totally craveable cane sauce. But while all those things are definitely tasty, the absolute best thing about Raising Cane's is simple. We don't make it until you're ready to eat it. Raising Cane's, one love.
You can count on Jerry Lane.
At Jerry Lane, they rolled the red carpet out for me.
It's always been Jerry. Jerry Lane.
You know what? It's tradition, it's family, and that's what keeps us coming back to Jerry Lane.
Get the lane, get the lane. Get the lane, get the lane. Get the lane, get the lane.
We're a Jerry Lane family.
Always lead to. You can count on Jerry Lane.
Southern University baseball coach Roger Cador has more than 800 wins and 14 SWAC championships. And he has such humble beginnings that a lot of people would have given up along the way, but not him. We sit down with Roger Cador and we talk candidly about his new book, Against All Odds, and we discover where he finds the hope, faith, and tenacity to get to the top.
You know how hard it is to make life difficult? Why would you want to do that?
Tough enough already.
It's tough enough already.
Coach
Make
Roger
it easy.
Cador seems to have it all. Championships, trophies, major league star players, a stellar reputation, and he's at the top of his game. But he got here against all odds. He grew up in Ventress, Louisiana, the son of a sharecropper. At 14 years old, Roger didn't know how to read or write. Instead of schoolwork, he had to work the fields.
It was just a struggle in every facet of life, from reading to writing, being teased. You know, it's very difficult. You know, people say sticks and stones may break my bone, but word doesn't hurt. Words hurt, and they hurt bad, Whitney.
But instead of letting that bring him down, he rose up.
And, it hurt me, but you know what? I looked at it at a different way. They were right. I looked at it that they were correct in the teasing me when I couldn't read and write. They were correct. Rather than fool myself and make me think I could do it, I went into action. I put an action plan into place and started trying to read better and write better and talk better. And I benefited from looking at my shortcomings and working on them. Not very many people would do that because so many people who grew up with me quit. They couldn't take it.
Then Roger did something few children would dare do in the 1960s. He told his father, who never made a dime, that he could do better.
Prior to that, he never made one penny. Every year the man said, "You broke even." Can you imagine that? We had many great years where we made good crop, but not one penny we were able to derive from that. My daddy wasn't happy because of all the abuse he had to take. And when I say abuse, they were mental abuse, you understand? Mm-hmm. And even though it never was discussed, I was feeding off of it. I was looking at it and see he was not a happy man. But they all were conditioned, this is what you're gonna have to do, or what do you do? This is what, you know?
That's all he knew.
That's all they knew.
Were his parents sharecroppers?
The parents, everybody, generations after generation for whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, a couple of hundred years of generation, that's basically what was happening. So at 14, I got him to let me go to school. He quit sharecropping. He came to Baton Rouge, got a construction job, made money, and he was a happier man. My father's demeanor changed. He began to talk, where before he was just frustrated. Mm-hmm. But now he had money he could bring home and give my mother every week. I thought that was a beautiful thing. Plus, I was getting to go to school. Mm. So it was a win-win situation for the family.
But Roger's winning spirit got him to high school and on the basketball court for the first time.
So I went and picked pecans and bought a basketball goal, put it up, and practiced by myself. I went out for the basketball team, and I was so pitiful. Pathetic is even worse, the best word to put it. The coach told me, leave the gym, that I was so I did not leave. Maybe I was a stubborn kid. Well, the coach was my ride home because New Road and Venture is 10 miles from the school. At night, that was my only ride. So he took me 5 miles and I had to walk 5 miles. And what he was trying to do is say to me, you can't play, so might as well quit. Well, the next day I came back. And I came back and I kept coming back and he kept dropping me off 5 miles away. And people said he was mean, and I told him, thanks for making me tough. You see, I never look at what people might have done as a way to harm me. It was a way to motivate me and open my eyes and make me tougher. And when I see Coach Roosevelt Collins now, he's still alive.
Yes.
I said, Coach, thanks. Thanks for doing what you did. Because you know what? By my sophomore year, I got better. He was taking me all the way home then. How about that? I didn't have to walk 5 miles. He took me all the way to my house.
Roger never dreamed he'd be good enough to play college basketball, but he was definitely going to be a college student. He chose Southern University.
I was so determined. I had gone and picked pecans to make the money to come to college. Wow. When I ran into a guy who saw me play basketball in high school, and he said, I came to Southern to find out how I could register. And he said, boy, you're not in school? I said, no. He said, come here, let me take you to the athletic director. Dean U.S. Jones was the AD, and he saw me play against his son in high school and demolish his son, who got a scholarship here. And he said, Kadar, you're good enough to have a scholarship. I tell you what, you come back in January and I'm gonna give you a scholarship.
So what'd you do with that pecan money?
I had given it to him and he gave it back to me. And I went and bought clothing so I could come. You know, Whitney, I only had 2 pairs of jeans as I went through college. 2 change of clothing.
The whole time.
And never knew how poor I was. All I knew, I couldn't go back. That was every day, I can't go back.
Baseball came into play when Southern's athletic director said he had to.
Back then, that's what they did. You had to play 2 sports.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He said, I'm giving you this basketball scholarship, but you have to play baseball. So that's what I did. I played both.
And even though college courses were tough, by his senior year, Roger wasn't only a great college athlete, he was a great college honors student.
I was the least of, if anybody we grew up with, and so they would say I was the least person to make it. That's how far down the chain I was. I was right down here on the bottom. I was the laughing stock. But that's why if you keep working hard and you stay, I give the example to my kids all the time. And I say, watch the raindrop. And I say, if you watch the raindrop drop on the concrete in the same place every time, it's gonna make a hole there. And I say, the innocent raindrop puts a hole in the concrete. So that says something about being consistent. If you show up every day and work hard, you don't have to be good, but you'll pass people up. And if you keep yourself with mild manner and meekness, you'll be able to accomplish stuff nobody else thought you could.
And if you'd like a copy of his new book, you can find it on Amazon.com. And coming up next, it is sizzling in the kitchen on your Sunday. We're going to make a delicious soft-shell crab Tuscany dish with the folks at the Little Village downtown. After this.
You can count on Jerry Lane.
I'm on my 3rd Tahoe.
And I'm on my 4th Chevy Silverado pickup.
It's always been Jerry.
Hey, you know I've had 4 Camaros, 5 Corvettes. Got them all from Jerry Lane.
We're proud to be a Jerry Lane family.
All lanes lead to. You can count on Jerry Lane.
Give the gift of fine dining this holiday season. Wayne Stabler Companies is offering 1 card for 4. Le Creole, The Little Village, Stab's Steak and Seafood. 4 sizzling restaurants, 1 card.
This segment brought to you by our friends at Wayne Stabler Companies.
Well, this morning we are in the kitchen of popular downtown Baton Rouge restaurant, The Little Village, and they do magnificent, wonderful things, and today is no exception. Executive Chef Ryan Burgett joins us this morning with more. And what are we making up?
Today we will be doing the soft-shell crab Tuscany. Ooh. It is a fried soft-shell crab with a nice little sauce with artichokes, tomatoes, crawfish, and crab meat on the top, and it's delicious.
Let's do it. Let's get started.
All right. First off, we're going to fry our soft-shell crab here.
Just
we just season up, salt and pepper, a little flour, egg wash, and then just going to throw it right in the deep fryer.
Okay. Now you're waving it. Why is that?
It opens up the legs like they do. Like you don't do that, it'll pop up. It'll just be one big ball of crab opposed to all the legs coming out.
Nice little trick there.
It is. And we're going to do about 2 minutes on each side. We'll flip it till it's a nice little golden brown. And then we'll pull it on out. And while that's frying, we're going to work on our sauce here.
You all do have the most magnificent sauces.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to add a little butter and oil. Let that get hot.
And that's just not an olive oil, just regular cooking oil?
It's pomace oil.
Okay, there you go.
It is. And we're going to saute our tomatoes, artichokes, and bell peppers. We're going to finish it with the crawfish and crab meat.
Oh, crawfish and crab meat on top of that?
Crawfish and crab.
It just gets better.
All that. Little roasted garlic.
How long have you been a chef, Ryan?
I have been doing this for 10 or 12 years.
Excellent.
For a while. Good long time. I've been here at the Little Village for almost 5 years, going on 5 years.
Now, how do you turn that in there?
I am going to use a pair of tongs.
Yeah, this is not. I know you do a lot of stuff with your hands.
Just like that. Capers. Fresh basil.
So the Little Village is known as an Italian restaurant, but as you can see, they do a lot of other things other than Italian here. Anything with seafood, just about. And if they don't have what you maybe you're craving on the menu, Chef Ryan says, just tell them what you want, and they'll whip it up for you.
It happens all the time. You don't like what we have on the menu, just tell us what you want, and we will be more than happy to whip it up. We're going to deglaze with some wine here.
Okay. White wine.
Just want that cooked down. It's going to be delicious.
It's going to set the taste buds on fire. Great.
It should. Golden brown.
Oh, perfect. Not oily, not greasy.
All right.
That looks beautiful.
We are almost ready to eat.
And you just use a regular flour on that, right? Not a self-rising?
Oh, yeah, that's a regular all-purpose flour.
Just a regular. Okay, good, good. Oh, I need to get a fork ready. I know that.
And now we're just going to take this right here, finish it with a little lemon butter here. Go right over the top.
Oh. Now this is not on the menu typically.
It is.
Oh, it is.
This
Okay.
is on our menu.
I don't know how I've missed that.
Yes.
I think I would have ordered that every time I come from now on.
It's a pretty popular dish.
Oh, it looks marvelous. Is it hard to find soft shells?
It is year-round to find good-looking ones, some decent bite-sized ones.
Right. We'll just get this bite cooling off right here. I borrowed it.
Dig in, huh?
Yeah, luckily there is nothing shy about me, Ryan. And I guess if people want to book holiday parties, they need to go ahead and do that, right?
Oh, yes. We would prefer a couple of days notice, but there's really no party too big or too small that we can take care of.
That's right. You all have lots of accommodations here. Oh.
Pretty good, huh?
And breakfast just got better. That's delicious. Thank you so much.
Coming up next, we sit down with Dr. Nick and talk about the importance of self-care. Many of us take care of everyone but ourselves the way we should. He's going to let us know why self-care should be everywhere. Right after this.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
Give the gift of fine dining this holiday season. Wayne Stabler Companies is offering one card for 4. Le Creole, The Little Village, Stab Steak and Seafood. 4 sizzling restaurants, 1 card.
This segment brought to you by our friends at Jerry Lane.
We are sitting down with Dr. Nick this morning to talk about self-care. Do you ever feel like you're taking care of everyone else but yourself? Or if you're taking care of yourself, are you being indulgent? Are you going wild?
What we want people to know, Whitney, is exactly what you started off with. Self-care is not self-indulgence. That's a great phrase. It doesn't mean I'm going to do whatever I want. Self-care is about self-discipline, self-control, self-regulation. But it's also about exactly what you said. I've got to think of myself in this world. I call it, again, being on my own ship and navigating my ship and no one else's. And I got to take care of my ship because I'm going to come into storms and beautiful weather. That's self-care. Just quickly, I was thinking about the vacation that I took. I had to figure out what to do with the cell phone. Because I didn't want to be tied to that phone, but I knew that it was a part of my life, so I kind of decided that I would check it in the morning and then in the evening. Now, and some people may say, how do you do it? That's my self-care.
But you wouldn't do that during the week when you're in town, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay,
I
good.
wouldn't. And
you were making me nervous.
But I do turn it off like around 9:30 at night because that's self-care. You know I do. Self-care is about taking care of oneself. And I also want to remind people, whenever I'm feeling like your feelings are more important than mine, I'm probably a little bit too focused on you.
Which means I'm a little too codependent.
That's a great word. And we need to just balance it out. I care, you care. Living in this world means how do we live it in common? Sharing space. You live in a house with family.
Right. Well, and I think we all struggle with, am I being too selfish? Am I giving too much of myself? You've said to me, Whitney, you give so much of yourself, there's going to be nothing left.
Yes, I have said that. And I do think that part of the problem is we fall into that false guilt and say, when I take care of myself, I'm being selfish. And that is not of God. Period.
Let's talk more about that. When we feel selfish, it's probably false guilt, and it's not of God.
I can only speak primarily from my experience. And my experience is that the more that I have over the years taken care of myself, the less guilt I have felt. Because I'm not going to be good to people that I serve if I don't breathe in, if I don't get nourishment, if I don't get rest, if I don't get the proper care and relaxation. I want to live a life of ease.
But isn't that a hard balancing act?
Of course it is, and that's what the human journey is. When people say, Nikki, you're nuts, I'm like, of course I'm nuts, I'm human. I'm living on the edge. I'm trying to balance care for others and care for self. You know that as a mother. You know that. How do I balance work with my husband and my children and my social life and all these needs that you have?
Right. And it can be overwhelming.
It can be, which is why you're getting a little bit more self-care these days, I hope.
I am. I'm getting a little more sleep.
That's one path. And you look great, so, and you know that's always what matters. Well, it is. My mother would, when she would feel down, she would take care of herself and get pretty.
Oh,
Did your mother do
nice.
that?
My mother never got down, and that's one thing I struggle with. My mother never stopped. It was always about everyone else.
Wow, interesting history. Interesting history.
And I think that's part of the reason I battle it.
And part of the reason why it's your natural tendency to do it.
And that's why you
you're
get
not
on
far,
me about it.
You're not far from the tree.
Well, thanks, Nikki, because I think we all needed to hear that. Self-care, so we can be more of service to others and be around longer for them to enjoy us.
Very true.
Thanks so much. We're back. Much more Weekends with Whitney right after this.
You can count
Jerry Lane.
We're Cadillac women.
Jerry Lane. It's always been Jerry.
I'm a cowgirl, but I like to ride in style.
I'm a broadcasting major, and I want everyone to know that I love my Cadillac SRX.
Always me too. You can count on Jerry Lane.
You know the best thing about Raising Cane's? Well, we have fresh, never ever frozen 100% premium chicken fingers. We also have extra long crinkle cut fries. Then there's our crisp coleslaw and buttery Texas toast. And of course, you can't forget about our totally craveable cane sauce. But while all those things are definitely tasty, the absolute best thing about Raising Cane's is simple. We don't make it until you're ready to eat it. Raising Cane's, one love.
Thanks so much for starting your Sundays with us here on Weekends with Whitney. We would love to hear from you. You can go to our website, weekendswithwhitney.net. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great Sunday. Hope to see you back here again next Sunday. Until then, we leave you with this.